Well, today is St George's Day, and I thought I would try and do something a little different that celebrates St George. And I want to ask the question, what have these two guys got in common? And the answer is that today, April 23rd, we remember that both William Shakespeare and St George died. Our national poet and our patron saint both died on April 23rd. So it's a day for English celebrations. Note my t-shirt remembering that great victory in 1966. It's not surprising that Shakespeare mentions St George well over a dozen times, and most notably perhaps that great speech preparing the English troops for battle in Henry V, where the king starts off, "Once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more, or close the wall up with our English dead." And it ends with these rallying words, "I see you stand like greyhounds in the slip, straining upon the start. The game's afoot, follow your spirit, and upon this charge try God for Harry, England, and St George." Well, the idea that George ever came to England is very unlikely. There are some old traditions that he came to wait upon Constantine, but generally speaking, nobody believes that today. Nobody believes anything about a dragon either. What is the dragon and where did that come from? The dragon was an Eastern symbol of everything that was evil, and it was picked up and used widely from a later time than George. There's nothing about George riding on a horse either. It was Edward III of England who wanted him depicted in that way, on a horse with a long spear with the little dragon at his feet. So who was St George, and why did the English adopt him as their patron saint? The name George is Greek. It means a farmer, and he was born in what we now call Turkey, Cappadocia, to a Christian family. The father died, possibly as a martyr, and the mother relocated back to her native home, Palestine, and her hometown was Lydda, as it's known in the Bible, and right next to where Ben Gurion International Airport is today. George's father had been a high-ranking official in the Roman army, and George approached the emperor and managed to get a position. Being a diligent, courageous, chivalrous, and quite a good-looking guy by all accounts, he was rapidly promoted through the ranks and achieved the status of a tribune. Diocletian wanted to consolidate his power over the empire, and to ensure that everybody was right behind him, he began to purge what he considered to be dissidents, and amongst those were the growing number of Christians. So many Christians were martyred. It was one of the bloodiest purges, and together with Galerius, they oversaw the decimation of many church communities. George was quite favoured because he was in the army and he was known to Diocletian and he had served him well. And so Diocletian offered him the option: turn your back on your faith, pledge your allegiance to me, and you can go free. So what can Christians say today about the life of St George? The first is that he was a Christian witness. He was someone who, when given the choice of life, yet deny your faith, or martyrdom, he chose martyrdom. According to one old tradition, he says, "Now I will inform you of the whole matter boldly. I am a Christian, and I believe on my Lord Jesus Christ. Whatever you desire to do unto me, that do." The second thing is the courage and the conviction to overcome evil. So as we face this issue of coronavirus, the resolution and the determination to pledge his allegiance to Christ, to live for Christ, to die for Christ. It serves, as we serve our country, as we serve our people, as we stand together in the fight to overcome. St George is surely a good emblem for us all.